Brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the cabin.
Morning, everybody. Morning, Randy. Just you and I in here today, bud. Starting off the morning with just Ollie of those three that were just mentioned. With you. And Randy. I've got a problem. I'm not entirely sure of the severity of the problem, but it's infinitely worse than it was about 8 hours ago. And I may be about to break a 4-year run of living in Canada without really having had to use the NWT health card. I think today might be the day, because boy oh boy, I can't really move anything on the right side of my torso today. Might have been a little soccer incident last night. We're going to get into that, because it's not like I can go anywhere. I'm pretty much parked here until someone brings a forklift. So we'll chat. We'll hang out. That's what we'll do. It's extraordinarily painful. Maybe the most pain I've been in quite some time. It's one of those things where last night you're like, oh, it'll be fine in the morning. Oh, it was not fine. It was quite the opposite of fine. And now I'm in that position where I'm just going to go around canvassing friends and be like, well, should I be in the hospital for this right now? Or am I exaggerating? Do I just wait for things like movement and the ability to tie shoelaces to return at some later date? Yeah, who knows? Morning, everybody. Welcome to a brand new Tuesday, full of hope and optimism and possibly emergency surgery.
Mornings at the cabin, the podcast.
Mornings at the cabin, Ollie and Lekter. Lecter's in the building. Morning, Lecter.
Hey.
You were going to come in and launch into a healthcare complaint there. What was yours?
Well, it seems a bit silly now, but my back's a little sore.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
It's kind of commonplace, I guess. My back's been a little sore since age 19. But,
all right. Just so going to throw in a quick healthcare complaint. Basically, the last decade of my life has been chronic pain, Ollie.
Yeah, pretty well.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, nothing to really quite compete with that. I didn't realize you got to go for like a decade-long kind of pain.
Well, I've adapted, you see.
I've adapted.
Over the years.
I just don't use my spine anymore.
That's right.
I just slink from place to place. Like one of those...
Slither.
Yeah. Like a slinky just downstairs. Just go...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't got to think about it too much, right? It's just kind of there. It's a nice fallback. Reminds me that some things are still normal.
I was playing soccer last night, and we took a pounding as a team. We lost relatively heavily. It was like, I don't know, 5 or 6-3 or something.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it was a bit of an onslaught on my net. I was playing in goal. Made a couple of saves in a row. Didn't matter. Ball still ended up in the back of the net, as did I. And then I'm getting up again. And it's just a shooting pain in the top of my right shoulder. I don't even know what I'm supposed to call that. It feels like it's not quite collarbone. It's more like clavicle, he said.
Mm-hmm.
Grade 5 biology. And
I think that's all part of the collarbone, isn't it? Is the right clavicle and the left clavicle make up the collarbone?
Should have known.
Anyway.
Hockey fans would be way up on this. Like, it's kind of why I wanted to talk to you about this. I was like, hockey players are surely going to know what to do about like upper body injuries. I feel like that's got to be a thing.
Oh, no, I have no idea what to do about them. I just know what it feels like.
Okay, you just know what they are. Yeah, well versed in those. So, yeah, I played. There were only a few minutes left in the game, so I played till the end of it and just gingerly got back in the car, drove home, eased myself into bed. It's like, it's a night to forget. Woke up this morning. Took about 5 minutes to get out of bed. Like, it was just really difficult to move without really hurting it. And then, well, let's just say there have been some activities this morning that I've had to do with the other hand that other hand was not prepared for.
All right, we don't need to go into too much detail.
No, I'm not going to go into any more detail other than to say that my left hand and I have had a severe argument this morning. I'm like, well, how do you not know how to do this? And it's like, well, I haven't done it for 15 years at least, like maybe more like 30. I'm like, well, why not? And it's just like, you're just thoroughly unprepared as a hand, aren't you? Like, the right hand knows about all this stuff. Why don't you know?
You never want to be on bad terms with your left hand.
Well,
you never know.
We've fallen out because it is not prepared to take over the right hand's jobs this morning. And there was just hilarity ensued. I'm not going to go into any more detail, but suffice to say that a lot of things took a lot longer than they ordinarily do. And even dressing myself this morning, like this shoulder, it hurts so much that I just couldn't figure out getting a t-shirt on, and I had this horrible like moment of despair where after a couple of minutes I just stood there. I was like, what are my options here? What are my options for getting through this day if I cannot get this t-shirt on my body?
And so you wanted a hockey player's advice for this situation?
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure it's just shake it off, just skate it off. That's that's all.
I hate
that's all we got.
Hockey players are just the worst. Skate it off.
The
last thing I need right now is to go skating.
You just got some cobwebs in your shoulder. You just got to shake out the cobwebs.
Like there's a widow spider in there with them, and
That's
it's
right.
biting. Yeah. So I made it to work, but I am increasingly thinking that this will be the first time that the NWT healthcare card gets some exercise.
All right.
Gets broken out.
The maiden voyage.
I've only ever been to Stanton Hospital to do interviews with people. This will be the first time that I've actually gone and been like, yeah, there's actually something wrong, rather than being like in a news style, there's something wrong. You there, news person, you should answer my questions.
I hope someone randomly approaches you with like a makeshift microphone. Like, so Wally,
but
can't help but notice the tables have been turned.
They'll regret that half an hour later while I'm still telling the story, and it's turned into more like a Viking song at this point.
Cabin Radio's morning show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
Coming up, we will discuss whether Yellowknife needs a new $50 million Olympic-sized swimming pool. Consensus in this studio seems to be yes. Find out about that later on. We'll also discuss the world's stupidest flag. That's also on the agenda this morning. Before any of that, I had a little word with Lecter. We know this morning, if you're just joining us, there is an invalid in Studio 1. I've successfully managed to ruin my right shoulder this morning, and we're contemplating my first ever trip to a Canadian emerge.
Ollie is broken.
Yeah, a little broken this morning. Field of movement for my right shoulder, somewhat limited. Took 15 minutes to get 2 shoes on. And this got me thinking, I knew that you would have injury stories.
Well, yeah.
From a lifetime of hockey more than anything. Are any of them not hockey related?
One of them, yeah.
One of them is not. Out of the 3 that you've got.
Out of the 3, yeah.
One is not hockey related.
That made this list. I could have gone on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you immediately set to a list, which I admired. Yeah, that seemed a very appropriate. Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting.
Well,
So start from let's build up to the best one.
Okay.
Give me the number 3 story.
Build up to the best one or build up to the local one?
Okay, build up to the local one.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
Oh, we love a good
local story. Because that's arguably
story.
one and the same.
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, when I was about 15 years old, of course, hockey related, we were in a practice, and it was right at the end of the season. And I went into the corner to race for the puck with a teammate, and he turned, and the knob of his stick came right through my cage. We were wearing a face mask cage at the time. Came right through my cage, smacked me in the teeth, and chipped one in half, broke one of my teeth in half, and knocked the other back. Hence why I now have 2 fake front teeth, thus earning my hockey player badge. So that was number 1.
I never knew that. I'd never have known.
Yeah, they look great, right?
I feel like there must be an absurd percentage of the population of Canada that has fake front teeth.
Oh, absolutely. Well, especially if you played hockey.
Yeah.
That's like I say, it's kind of like a rite of passage in hockey that you got to have at least one fake front tooth.
Where do they get the fake ones from? Is there a factory that makes fake front teeth so everyone has the same... if I looked closely, your front teeth are identical because you got them from the same place as 20 other guys in town.
Brand name. I got the knockoffs though.
The knockoffs.
You can't even tell.
The ones that say Sony instead of Sony.
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
Can't even tell.
Alrighty.
Great.
So that's story 1. Fake front teeth. Great.
Second hockey injury story. And I'm going in chronological order here, actually. So my first junior hockey tryout was very excited and had something happen that I think that was actually the reason I made the team in retrospect. So it was a scrimmage, and player was coming down, being a defenseman, and he just tried to shoot the puck, use me as a screen. I got my stick in the way. Puck came right up, hit me in the chin, and this was the first time I had ever played hockey or scrimmaged or anything without a full face shield. Was doing the half visor because I'm well, I'm a junior hockey player now. I don't need a full cage. So sure enough, first on ice session with a half visor, And puck goes off my stick, hammers me right in the chin, and chin just goes numb immediately. And I'm just like, well, I'm fine. I'm just going to continue my shift. Keep skating around, and all of a sudden I look down, and there's just blood all over my jersey. And I'm just like, oh my God, my chin is just leaking. And I look at the bench, and the coach is yelling. He's like, come to the bench, get off the ice. But I finished my shift with my chin just raining blood down upon my jersey. And I was like, oh, that probably looked pretty good. 7 stitches later, I was like, well, I made that team.
Yeah, 8 people behind you scraping the ice frantically, right?
Yeah.
Like, sanitary reasons.
Yeah.
Desperately, like, shoveling your blood off. Great.
Like, who is that kid who ate a puck to the face and didn't even feel it? That I want that kid on our team.
Lecter's top 3 injuries. That was injury number 2. We move on to number 1.
Move on to number 1. Number 1 hockey injury. I actually wrote down 4 just because it was just hard to narrow them down.
This is amazing.
I apologize. So, number of years later in rec hockey, I apparently was taking it too seriously. It was a close game, and late in the game, I think we were up by 1 goal, and puck went back to opposition player, and he wound up to take a slap shot. I slid on the ice thinking, well, I'm going to block this shot.
Oh, don't be a hero.
Be the hero, of course. Not being a forward, not knowing how to block shots properly. He and also his shot was just awful and went like 10 feet wide of the net.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's his fault.
So instead of hitting my shin pads like he should have, the puck went off to the side, hit me right in the throat.
Oh, no.
Yeah, slap shot right in the throat. I couldn't talk normally for about the next 2 or 3 days after that. But luckily we had a doctor on our team on the bench. He kind of just gave my trachea a jiggle. And he was like, yeah, it seems like it's all in one piece there. It's like, all right.
That is the technical term for that, the old trachea jiggle. Yeah. You just do the jiggle for me there, Doc. I think I might have some trouble.
I think my singing range lost an octave after that one. But,
okay, that explains that as well.
But I sounded a little bit cooler on the radio after.
And so you've got 1 on the list.
And so I've got 1 more.
That is not hockey related.
Not hockey related and local.
Go for it.
Yes, the local Yellowknife Flag Football League. Was it, I think not last year, but the year before, there was the annual Ice Bowl tournament every year in late November. So our team, of course, was taking part. And in the warm-up, I went up to catch a high pass, came down, and just landed somehow awkwardly on my knee and just went down in a heap. It was like, okay, well, that didn't feel good, but I was able to get up, and I don't know if adrenaline had already kicked in, but I was able to just kind of continue on. And it didn't feel good, but it was like, okay, I think I can make it through this game. A little after halftime, I think first play after halftime, I was playing defense and covering a guy, and he turned suddenly, and we just smashed knees. His shin hit me square on the kneecap, on the other knee that I hadn't gone down awkwardly on. And so, and I honestly thought I had broken my kneecap in half. It hurt so much. And so the next day I literally could not walk, and went to the hospital again. They're like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's just a little bruised. Go home.
Jog it off.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Walk it off. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I did not finish that game or the rest of the tournament. And there you go. Lecter's top 4 of many more injuries.
Yeah, it's just don't play sports, kids. That was the message from all of that I got. Don't take part in any of these sports because they'll just ruin you. I'm sat here this morning, can't move half of my body because of sport.
Oh yeah.
Lecter's lost teeth.
And I didn't even mention the injury that's given me, 10 plus years of chronic back pain. Also hockey related.
Okay, so there you go, everybody. Morning. Hope your chronic injuries are treating you well.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
We had your top 4 injuries.
Yeah.
You snuck an extra one in there.
Just too many to catalog.
I mean, they're all sports related, aren't they? I think about them. Mine are sort of tangentially sports related. I've got one in particular where I was not the one taking part in the sport and yet still ended up being injured. And
all right.
I would have been about 7 years old, and I was at school, and it's recess. Kids are running around doing all sorts of stuff, and there was a wall, about a 6 foot tall brick wall that you could go sit on. And other kids would just hang out on this wall.
The sitting wall.
Pretty much.
Naturally.
And you sort of just clamber up on it, like hop up. There's a bench at the back that you could climb up, and then just hop on this wall, just look out across the playground. And this kid was kicking a rugby ball, like, over the wall that way, and then back across the wall the other way. And like, the inevitable happened, and this kid just drilled a rugby ball straight into my face.
Oh, no.
Knocked me off that wall like a skittle. Just boom. Straight off.
Yeah.
And I landed on the concrete floor 6 feet down, head first.
Ooh.
And fractured my skull.
Wow.
And my most intense memory of that is of standing up again and head swimming.
Thank God you were able to.
Swimming. Yeah, no kidding.
Holy crap.
No, I got away with this one.
Yeah.
Standing up at the end of it, I know like 10 kids gathered around me doing like the archetypal 7-year-old, well, we're just going to stand here and stare at this situation.
Someone get a stick. Let's poke him.
Right. Like just no real concept of how to react to this. And I remember slurring, like, go and get a teacher. No. But it came out as just like, because I just had no motor control left because bad things were happening. And
your brain was resetting itself.
Yeah, completely. And I basically just like growled like a demon.
Oh my God.
I have no idea what it must have sounded like to them. And so
they just run away screaming.
Yeah, I think that was a solid day or two in hospital and being woken up every hour in the night for blood pressure checks and all this sort of stuff. So that was a fun one for my mother, who's probably still listening. I'm sure you enjoyed that one. Wasn't that great fun? You and I? Oh,
trip down memory lane.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good one. And then I managed to, at university, I played like cricket and soccer were my big sports, and each one of those was responsible for like almost losing me one sense.
Right.
I lost the hearing in one ear playing soccer, and they drilled it into my left ear from very close range, and just like that, the hearing went for 2 weeks in my left ear, just blew an eardrum.
Ooh.
And then I had a cricket ball to the eye playing cricket, and that lost me the sight in one eye for about a week.
Wow.
The doctor's just like, yeah, it'll come back.
It'll come back.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Like, it's just the blood in your eye. Like, oh, great, that's reassuring.
Oh, it's the blood that's getting in the way.
Gave me these drops to dilate the pupil that I forget what the whole point of that was, but it just like gradually washed out. Yeah, the blood came out over the next week or so, and like, he was right.
Wow.
I got back a week later. It was the best excuse to not have to do any work for a week, because you just go see your prof and say, well, I can't actually see, like, perspective wise. I've got one eye going for me, but like the other eye's kind of shut. Can I just take a week off? Yeah, you probably better had. So there you go.
Have you ever broken a bone?
Well, let's
Aside
find out.
From fracturing
I was going to say, give me another couple of hours. I'll let you know.
Yet to be determined. Aside from fracturing your skull,
I've done. Yeah, all right. Fracturing skull. I've done an ankle.
Okay.
I think one of the 2 times I ever went skating, I took an ankle out. Other than that, no. One of you
surprisingly,
no.
You know, and I was just thinking how your injuries made mine seem pretty minuscule, all things considered. I've never broken a bone either. Yeah. Shockingly.
So if you're listening and you play
graceful at all, but somehow never broken a bone.
If you're listening and you play rec hockey in Yellowknife, there's your target. That's what's called painting the bullseye, everybody. I look forward to hearing how that rests today. You got a game tonight, haven't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe I'll wear a second set of shin pads.
You're listening to the best of Mornings at the Cabin. Yeah, it's a short show.
Morning, it's Temptress.
Oh, hi there.
And morning, Lecter.
Hey.
It's not my go. Mornings at the Cabin. And it is 8:13. We've kind of, I was going to say we've done injuries to death, but it's not quite that bad. My prospects, I would say, are still broadly speaking positive. I was about to say I will limp into emerge with my bad shoulder, and I will, because that's probably how I'll deal with that.
Because you walk on your hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably part of the reason. They'll probably sit me down and say you should stop doing that. But seeing as we've dealt with our various injury crises, let's talk about this swimming pool. $50 million is the price tag on getting Yellowknife an Olympic-sized swimming pool with a separate 25-meter leisure pool with a lazy river. I had to look up what one of those was.
A lazy river?
And it was kind of what I suppose I could have guessed. It's just like a little like river thing that acts like a lovely little river, and you go down there and relax.
They have them at resorts in Mexico, that sort of thing.
Well, talk to someone about the last time I went to a resort in Mexico, and you'll understand why I maybe don't know much about lazy rivers.
Yeah, it's because you were working, because you always work.
There's a famous video of me in jeans and a t-shirt hanging out by the pool.
I love that video.
Yeah, I feel like just about everyone in Yellowknife has seen that video. I need a little training when it comes to Mexican resorts. Anyway, there's a lazy river. There's going to be a hot tub, springboard. I say there's going to be. This is like no decisions have been taken. It's not at all final. It's just a vision for, hey, Yellowknife said it wanted this. This is what it'll cost. Lecter, should we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool in Yellowknife?
Absolutely.
Temperature, should we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool in Yellowknife?
Yes, but I'm kind of agog at the annual cost of the upkeep.
$3 million, $3.2 million a year to keep it going. At the moment, the Ruth Inch pool costs the city basically an extra $1 million to subsidize, over and above its revenue every year.
Right.
And it's basically like the sum total of the operating cost is about 1.6, 1.7 million. So you'd be doubling the operating cost, but probably be able to like do more stuff in there at once and get more people in. So it might not necessarily be. You might get a bit more revenue. I don't know. I haven't looked at the figures too closely for that. But yeah, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a bob or two over there, Lecter, for your nice little Olympic-sized pool.
I mean, Ruth Inch Memorial Pool is in need of an upgrade. I don't think anyone's really arguing that. It's a fine facility, but I mean it's old. I don't know exactly how old. Kate, you have any idea
I
how
think
long it's been around?
pretty new when I got here 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So fairly old.
So for any public pool, I think that's pretty old. So it's in need of an upgrade anyway. So why not go bigger? Like you say, generally you're going to. I think there's going to be some. Without measuring it out and doing the math myself, because you don't want me doing the math, there's going to be some kind of counterbalancing effect. Because for one thing, it's going to be new, it's going to be shiny. People who may not have really thought of the pool as a recreational outlet are suddenly going to be like, hey, we got this big Olympic-sized pool. Let's go check this out.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. As much as I would definitely I am by no means a regular user of the Ruth Inch Memorial Pool. I can imagine myself going at least a few times to check out the new place and go hang out. Did you know, according to the survey that they did before this to figure out what the public wanted, more than 3/4 of the households in Yellowknife use the pool currently each year?
I believe it.
That's a big figure.
I mean, we have a long winter. There is a long period of time where it's nice to just walk into a nice, warm, humid atmosphere for a bit, where you wouldn't think twice about jumping into water.
Well, it's that, and plus there's so many families who want their kids to have the experience of learning how to swim and taking all of the Red Cross training. I know I did that growing up. I went all the way to almost becoming a lifeguard. That's a really big thing here in town, is folks wanting to have that athletic capacity that maybe in the winter time is a good idea for their kids, or summertime, depending if they're out of school.
And it's a lot more pleasant to do that, for whenever you want over the course of the year, rather than finding a nice maybe month and a half where it's semi-pleasant to do that in a lake.
Okay, so the studio is for the pool. What are we going to do with the old one?
Well, that's always a good question.
Doggy daycare.
Doggy daycare? Okay, oh, yeah. What, keep the pool? I just give them a whole indoor doggy splash park?
Or empty the pool and give them a bunch of toys in there.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
That's not bad at all.
That's what I was going to go for, an indoor pitch and putt, but all right.
Ooh.
I was going to move the mini golf indoors and then build the pool over the top of the old mini golf, and then everyone's got everything they wanted.
That's not a bad idea at all either.
Maybe we could do both. Indoor doggy splash park and pitch and putt. That's got to be some lively days out.
And the revenue from the mini putt course, just go to subsidize the pool.
Subsidize the pool. Beautiful. Well, we solved everything. Great. Thanks for coming in, everyone. Our job here is done. This has been Cabin Radio. We've solved the world's crises, and we will now fold.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
Now, the short route to national notoriety is to look at a vacant flagpole in the heart of your small community and decide to raise a flag on it that nobody would know what it means from a distance. But when you get up close and ask somebody, turns out it's a straight pride flag. You may have heard Greg talking about this yesterday afternoon. Stand up and take about Chipman, New Brunswick, for the direct line to national infamy by raising a flag, and they only managed to keep it up there for 24 hours before national outrage took it back down again. A straight pride flag. Now, I ask you, if you had not seen the flag, and if you haven't seen the flag yet, would you know a straight pride flag if you saw one?
I don't think anyone would. Mostly because I don't think it's been a thing up until now.
Up until the village of Chipman decided to take a shot for the headlines. And the flag is a black and white striped flag. I think there might be the icons for male and female intertwined in the middle. I think that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But you can hardly see those because they're printed in black on the black. So like they're frankly irrelevant. From any distance, you can't see that.
They don't exactly pop.
No, you can just see black and white. It's like a checkered flag from motorsports, just black and white stripes instead of checks. And I just don't understand the point, because you would drive past Chipman and just look at that flag and be like, weird little black and white flag. No one is going to look out of their vehicle and be like, look, straight pride. That is not what that flag says to anybody. It's just a random flag. And you had a great point about flags.
Well, I mean, it's just, you compare that flag now, just black and white bars. Of course, I'm assuming the symbolism behind it being like, we don't want any gray area. It's black and white. And
also, I guess it's not rainbows.
Not rainbows.
It's not the rainbow flag, which is such a bad, such an awful message for straight people. So what we're saying is straight people devoid of color.
Yes.
No interest to them at all.
Yeah, very visually unappealing, these straight people.
Like a 1960s television set.
Never have I wanted to be gay so badly.
It's just, who's going to rally under that flag?
And I don't think anyone did, and that's part of the problem. Now, it was raised by a guy named Glenn Bishop, who claims to know most of the pride community in Chipman, New Brunswick, which I can only assume is just bustling.
Yeah, okay.
He claims to know most of them and said he was shocked at the reaction. It was stayed up for about 24 hours and then was taken down when naturally people demanded it be taken down because it's ludicrous. He said he was shocked by the reaction to the flag, and he was shocked at the reaction received, rather, and is now considering taking legal action against the village.
I can't wait for that court case.
Because straight people historically have of course been persecuted, and this is a rallying point, this flag, right?
If only anyone knew what the flag meant. Come and rally under my flag. Which flag's that? The straight pride flag. What does that look like? It's black and white. Meanwhile, 500 straight pride activists attend a NASCAR race, all lined up by the flag. Is this the right black and white flag? No. It's the other one.
You know, and you got to admire the Chipman Village Council, who have taken this, as you mentioned, this sudden notoriety, and have tried to do an ultimate deflection. They released a statement yesterday noting that Chipman has, quote, many jobs open in the forestry and communications sector, inexpensive housing, and a program to welcome newcomers from Canada and abroad.
Is this in the program? I feel like the program could do with maybe a revision. Can you imagine? Who on earth is going to read this and be like, that's the place for me?
Wonder if they have any jobs in the forestry sector open.
Yeah. Oh, man. The jobs open in the communications sector, you say? Surely not. It's suggesting to me that there are some vacancies in the communications department at the village of Chipman.
They're aspiring. I think there is something to aspire to if this story tells us anything. To reiterate, there is no reason for a straight pride flag.
If you're driving through small town, rural Canada, and you happen across a black and white striped flag, you'll know it is the universal flag for Numpties Live Here.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca.